Kube nje. Welcome to the Deputy Minister and his entourage. Please do sit down. Thank you very much. My name is David Diale. I serve as the program director for today, but I'm also in the department as a chief director dealing with curriculum. I have my colleague here who's going to co-program with me, so let me allow her to also introduce herself.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to say all protocol observed. My name is Noxolo Qika. Intombi yakwaMarhwanqana umamiya isiduko uMagcwanini. I'm going to be co-program directing this session with Mr. Diale. I'm pleased to be here.
Thank you very much for that. I hope that the program has been shared with everyone. We then must stand up for the national anthem, please. Can we stand up for the national anthem? Thank you very much. Let's take our seats. Let me start by setting up the protocol so that speakers don't have to repeat it. DM, welcome to this particular gathering. As you can see, the tent is not enough. There has been a need to actually make it much more larger, and therefore clearly there is appetite for the intervention that you are coming up with. Let me also welcome Inkosi Mavuso from the National House of Traditional and Khoisan Leaders. And therefore, the necessary protocol must also be observed. Let me welcome in this particular gathering the DDGs, the Deputy Director Generals from the Department of Higher Education and Training, Ms. Fuchane, Ms. Kasa to this gathering. Let me also welcome the executive management and leadership of Old Mutual, Old Mutual is one of our major partners in this particular campaign. Let me also welcome the Mining Qualifications Authority in terms of the board members who are here, as well as the Chief Executive Officer. Let me welcome DDG Moyo from the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development, a key partner also in the intervention that we're going to be implementing. Let me also welcome the colleagues from the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs who are in this particular gathering. Let me welcome the executives and managers from the mining sector. Welcome to this particular gathering. Let me therefore welcome the principals of both the TVET and CET colleges in this gathering. Let me welcome Higher Health, who are available in this particular gathering. Let me also welcome the South African Local Government Association, who are part of this particular meeting. We have also the Project Management South Africa, who's part of this gathering, who's also going to be assisting us going forward. We have the National Electronic Media Institution of South Africa, NEMISA, who is one of our implementing partners in terms of digital literacy. Let me welcome also Google South Africa. We have a partnership with Google South Africa. So those who are going to be participating in this literacy campaign, beyond the ability to read and write, would then be the engagement around what Google provides as a provider. Let me also then welcome the National Council for the Blind in this gathering. We also have a number of local non-government organizations in this meeting. The Southville Youth Development Initiative, Mbok Services and Counseling, Zimbini Mayo Sikana GBV Center, Elungedweni Community-Based Support, Zinobomi Poverty Alleviation Program. Let me then welcome also center managers from the CET or community learning centers. Let me welcome, of course, the lecturers who are part of that. Importantly, let me welcome students in this particular gathering. Let me also welcome all of the community members that are here. Let me appreciate the support that were being provided by the South African Police Services. Let me appreciate also crime intelligence who have been assisting us in relation to the preparation for this gathering, the public order police that are also here, the ambulance services that is here, the law enforcement, traffic management that are here. Let me also welcome the exhibitors in this particular gathering. As and when there are additional participants that are going to be part of this meeting, we'll continue to acknowledge. But overall, let me welcome all of you to this gathering. Let me also acknowledge and appreciate your presence in this particular meeting. And therefore, I've established the protocol. So I'd want to make it easier for our speakers to get into the content of why they are here. Without a waste of time, let me then call on DDG Fuchane to do just a purpose of why we are here. Fuchane, please, can we welcome properly Ms. Fuchane? You do need to.
Thank you very much, program directors. And I think the program directors has made it very easy for us. I'll just acknowledge the Honorable Deputy Minister, Nengosi Mavuso, in our presence, and everyone in the House, as protocol is observed as indicated by Mr. Diale. Elam igama nguThembisa Fuchane, molweni endlini. Mhlambi nami ndizichaze njengoba uprogram director bezichazile ukhangela abantu azalana nabo. And ndingumamgiqwa ujikijwa umvaba Nkosana ubelethe ukhenkceza imali umzukulwane baqwathini kodikela. Inkosi. Nzawenza bemafuchane. We are here today to launch the adult literacy campaign. This launch is led by our Honorable Deputy Minister, Dr. Gondwe. I'm hoping that the screens are projecting so that you can have a sense and a background as to why this launch is important. But even beyond the launch, why the implementation of this program becomes even more important. There's work that has been done by Stats South Africa, and the Stats South Africa reports indicate that by 2023, South Africa has had 3.8 million illiterate adults who are 20 years and older. And regrettably, this is affecting mostly more women than men, as indicated that 54.2% of those who are deemed to be functionally illiterate are women and 45.8% are men. Therefore, the Ministry of the Department of Higher Education and Training intends to roll out the adult literacy interventions led by the Honorable Deputy Minister, Dr. Gondwe, as a response to the challenge of adult functional illiteracy in South Africa. The campaign is about adult literacy that links education with skills training and community development, in line with the goals of the National Development Plan 2030, the White Paper on PSET 2013, and UNESCO's Agenda for Sustainable Development Goal, which talks to quality education. The implementation is going to happen in phases, starting immediately 2026 up to 2030, with a goal of empowering adult students in basic literacy, functional literacy, digital literacy, and financial literacy. The speakers will delve into this a little bit later. This campaign is a nationwide initiative, as I've indicated. The department is doing this in partnership with the Mining Qualifications Authority, Old Mutual, Services SETA, Wholesale and Retail SETA, the National House of Traditional and Khoisan Leaders, and other strategic partners, most of whom are here today. You have a key role to play in this process, as will be indicated as the program unfolds. And as the Department of Higher Education and Training, through the leadership of Dr. Gondwe, we are pleased that you are here and part of this process and are going to be part of ensuring that this becomes a success. Thank you very much, Program Director. Zizojika izinto wena ukhalelani, wena ukhalelani, isikhalo somntwana sihoye, wena ukhalelani.
Thola mntana wena ukhalelani. Oh yeah. Thola mntana wena ukhalelani. Thola mntana. Thola mntana. Thank you very much to the DDG. Choir, you'll have your time. Don't worry. Let me acknowledge further the following organizations: the National Skills Authority, the drivers of our skills revolution. It would be amiss of me not to acknowledge the National Skills Authority. Let me also acknowledge the Human Resource Development Council of South Africa, represented also in this particular gathering. we had a very powerful summit led by the HRDC. So as we do this literacy, that the interventions must lead to the kinds of resolutions that were made at the HRDC summit. Let me also acknowledge the chair of the Northern Cape CET College Council, currently the only college council that is in office. I see my regional officials are also looking at me. Regional officials, you are also welcomed. So I note you. UDDG Fuchan has already indicated the partners that are part of this intervention, but also a call for additional partners, because this thing is huge. We want to reach 1 million students or people by 2030. And therefore, that's why we need to call on everyone who's able to collaborate, partner, and assist us. And therefore, let me then move in terms of the program. Let's have welcoming remarks. And these welcoming remarks would be done by Unkosuma Vuso, the Deputy Chair of the National House of Traditional and Khoisan Leaders. Can we welcome Inkos? No, you are not welcoming it. Can we welcome Inkosi?
Mphathi wohlelo namhlanje masikusesikolweni apha meaning kuyafundwa apha ndithunyiwe ke yikumkani ubantu ukwenza welcoming remarks apha kuba kwarharhabe apha amadoda ke ama ngenyawo sikhahlele ikumkani uba uyondoda uzawuhlala phansi amadoda ama ngenyawo avululwandle 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 Nkosi DM okokuqala mandicele uxolo on behalf of ikumkani that engakwazanga uza apha abantu abayaziyo ihistory. On the 12th of May is the day Harry Smelt killed King Yinsa. Now today the Deputy President usenqatu to commemorate that day yokusweleka kuka King Yinsa. So Kumkani ulapho with the Deputy President today. So that's why he could not come. Okwesibini, before ndinamkele, I don't know whether it's a coincidence that I am here to do welcoming remarks, because the real Lovedale is 900 kilometers away from my home. And the second campus, the first Lovedale was built by Amaxhosa, I think in the 7th Frontier War. And it was built again by Scottish missionaries. And I think I'm the 4th generation from Longozi that defended Lovedale to be where it is. And the other thing, I'm a Presbyterian, I'm a Presbyterian. So my church, Presbyterian Church of Africa by Pambani Mzimba, originates from Lovedale. So I don't know that it's a coincidence. Secondly, Deputy Minister, I must say this. One, we are concerned about you Lovedale, killing the Lovedale that is in Alice. But the original Lovedale is Alice, not King Williamstown. We had this fight with Professor Swartz, wanted to take Fort Hare from Alice to East London. This thing is killing the economy of Alice. Alice is a university town, dirty as it is. So siyacela ke for iLovedale mayingabe seqonce because King Williamstown is better off to Alice. Lovedale main campus, and this one can be a satellite. So siyacela lento as the community of Alice. Ndithetha ngwenze nkosi yase Alice. Kodwa ke akhondo, and abantu must read a lot. There's a lady, Dr. Maklengane, who wrote a thesis on how Scottish missionaries influenced the communities around Alice, and why there was Hilltown and why there was Lovedale. For instance, Mavuso, the first Mavuso, boycotted the opening of Hilltown because kwakusilwa i-Methodist and the Presbyterians. So we're having that rich history as this institution of Lovedale. Ndifuna unamkela ndizawuphinde ndithethe i-message of support apha. So ndifuna uthi on behalf of ukumkani uSandile, khululekani DM, this area is rich in history. This is the area where the 9 frontier wars have been fought, and it's one of them that is being commemorated today. And secondly, ute ukumkani, after 30 years of democracy, why are we still having a town called Harry Smith? Because that town called Harry Smith was an award to Harry Smith after he has killed King Insa of Amaxhosa. So with those few words, there's a lot that we need to do. We cannot do it in 30 years. Alomazwi bethuna, you're welcome apha. Izinja zalapha DM sibotshelelwe. Azizutya mntu, yonwabane, and we deliver service to our people. Enkosi.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. I didn't hear Inkosi iti we must take off our jackets, but then it was not said. Importantly, the rich history that Inkosi is talking to, and therefore the importance, even with this literacy campaign, that these stories, this history that is rich, must then find expression also in our curriculum. Thank you very much to Inkosi for that rich history. I hope my colleagues are listening to me, that this history must be also written and also be part of this adult literacy campaign. It can only be through that the history is actually passed on, that the history is also appreciated. Thank you very much to Inkosi for that particular welcome. Let me not waste time and then call on the Chief Executive Officer of the Mining Qualifications Authority, Dr. Thabo Mashongwane, to also render an item on behalf of the of MQA and then the board.
It is still good morning. Thank you, program directors, for the opportunity. The protocols have already been set, so In order for me to save time, I'm simply going to be riding on the protocols that have actually been set. Just to pass my gratitude and also greet our Honorable Deputy Minister, Dr. Kondwe. And I know you missed Program Director. There are colleagues from the SITAs. I saw the acting CEO of Mersita. There could also be other representatives and CEOs from other SITAs. I know the ASEO rep will come and speak on behalf of ASEO. I must also acknowledge, I mean, it's such a very wonderful moment to have your leadership going with you. So we have our own chairperson from Mining Qualifications Authority, Dr. Gondo. Dr. Kunta, my apologies, DM. Dr. Kunta. Dr. Kunta, please just so as people recognize, I know they have many questions, so they are going to be coming to you. If you were just to rise, Dr. Kunta, that's our chairperson. And there are also other 4 members that have joined. This makes life easy for governance and management because decisions are going to be taken faster and with much ease because governance body understands what's happening on the ground. So I'm very grateful that we are here. It is a privilege to join the Honorable Deputy Minister, Dr. Mimi Gondwe, and all partners represented here today at this college, Lovedale College. As much as we are here for CET, but then we are hosted by a sister college that is the DHET College for the launch of this important literacy empowerment campaign under the theme Empowering Communities Through Literacy for Inclusive Development. This gathering reflects a powerful collaboration between government, industry, and social partners committed to advancing literacy as a cornerstone for development. You know, I was impressed by, as we were coming from the flight yesterday, I noticed that there are colleagues from the mines who have also joined us, and that pleased me so much. Allow me to acknowledge the leadership of the Department for Higher Education and Training and the Ministry, in particular the role played by the Honorable Minister, Butimana Mela. Mr. Butimana Mela, who forever I was listening to the DM during the briefing session to say corner to corner, the minister would say, when are you doing it? The DDG knows very well that every corner I see the minister is going to be asking me, how far are you, what is happening? I didn't know what to tell him anymore. But I'm glad that today it is happening, and it is the first start of many others that are going to be happening. Program Director, today's program demonstrates a shared national commitment from the welcome remarks by the Nkosi and the House of Traditional Leader and Khoisan leaders to the contributors, to all contributors such as Old Mutual, and many other contributors. I mean, we have other sitters, and I spoke with DDG. We have already engaged FNB. We are engaging Standard Bank because we know that they are hard into development of the people of South Africa. So going forward, I hope that we are going to see many more partners, particularly from the SITA space. We have what we call the CHE projects, and we have already addressed them with and Tatidiali here. They are keen to really participate because this falls within the mandate of the SITAs, that we fast-track the development at CT level. In the mining sector, where the legacy of inequality is deeply rooted, these challenges are particularly evident. As the Mining Qualifications Authority, we have taken deliberate steps to address this through targeted adult education and training programs. These initiatives focus on improving foundational reading, writing, numeracy skills among mine workers, skills that are essential not only for workplace competence, but for personal empowerment and dignity. We have been doing this in the mining sector for many, many years, and it was really initiated by the trade union NUM those days when they were of course, the lead union in the sector to say we want to see our workers developed. So we celebrate International Literacy Day, and we're hoping that we are going to have that in Limpopo, and it must coincide with the provincial launch. To date, MQA has supported thousands of learners across mining communities through literacy and numeracy program. This intervention creates pathways into further education and skills development, enabling workers to progress into higher level occupations. We have seen even just last year, DM, the minister did grace our event, which was held in Carltonville. We had the CT colleges around the area participating. I mean, they evidenced the testimonies from the mine workers who moved just from knowing nothing and being just a mine worker to becoming a facilitator, to becoming a boss, a supervisor in the mining space, because we do allow them to really share with us their journey. Through this intervention, participants are empowered to enhance their employability and contribute meaningfully to the local economy. The DHET initiative is also intended to support development of communities by equipping learners with essential skills to access further education and enter the workforce. However, our responsibility extends beyond learners alone. We recognize the critical role played by facilitators, the educators who deliver these programs on the ground. For this reason, the MQA invests significantly in training and the development of these facilitators, ensuring that they are equipped with modern teaching methodologies, relevant resources, and ongoing professional support. Strengthening facilitator capacity is essential to achieving sustainable outcomes. So we do, and I know most of other cities, we do the same. We want to do more. As much as we do for TVETs and universities, we want to do more for this young sector, which is the CT. And I was excited when I got appointed in the MQA, and I had to go to DDG and say, DDG Fuchani, something is happening here and it belongs in your space. So please come, let's hold hands together and do it together for the country. With those words, MQA stands here once again, DM, to say over and above what we are doing, we will then be committing 50 support 50 learners for civic education for this launch. Thank you.
Another round of applause. CEO, I was thinking you were saying 50 million. You know, I thought that's a slip of the tongue. You were meant to say 50 million. But the chairperson of the board, we appreciate the support of the board for CET colleges, ma'am. That should be said. Let me then also acknowledge representatives coming from the South African Bureau of Standards who are in this particular meeting. So we welcome them. Let me then request, before we go to the next item, let me ask a choir to also render us an item. Thank you very much to the choir. You know, when you are a program manager, you get notes, which are sometimes problematic, DM. But given that this is about literacy, the organizer is indicating that there's a 5-minute play about the importance of literacy. So we will take that later, colleagues. Ms. Norma, we will take that later as we progress with the program. I think without wasting time, let me then hand over to my co-program director to then take us further. The next item she will therefore indicate. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Tiale. DM, the only thing that I didn't mention, I'm reminded here, is to introduce myself as who I am at Old Mutual. I'm the regional manager at Old Mutual. I'm based here in East London. I'm responsible for 2 regions in the province. My next presenter is going to be Mr. Sinovuyo Balfo from Old Mutual, who is responsible for a strategic relationship nationally. So without wasting any time, Izangond.
Nkosi mami. Molweni Qonca. Thank you, program directors. As much as I would like to ride on existing protocol, please allow me to acknowledge traditional leadership present. These are the custodians of our communities, our heritage and wisdom. Deputy Minister, Dr. Mimi Kondwe, leadership from the Department of Higher Education and Training, leadership of the Mining Qualifications Authority, Service SITA, all strategic partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Igama lam nguSinovuyo Balfo, ndingumkwayi uNgcondo Togu Mlawu. Ndizalwa nguMamcwerha, uGqarha uSiyoyo. Inkaba ileli edikeni kwantsela amanzi. So ndisekhaya ngoku nangona I represent Old Mutual from head office coming from Johannesburg. This is me coming home. I'm not alone in representing Old Mutual. Umamiya sezazisile. I have our national key account manager, Mr. Abraham Maloba. Mr. Maloba, he is leading us in the relationship with the Department of Education. I also have Mr. Matsaung Holo, who heads up our financial education and literacy. Thank you, leaders. Without further ado, it is both a privilege and a responsibility for Old Mutual to stand in support of this important national campaign. At Old Mutual, we believe literacy is not simply the ability to read and write. Literacy is dignity. It is confidence. It is access. It is economic participation. And ultimately, it is freedom. For many South Africans, especially in rural, underserved communities, the inability to access education, functional literacy, continues to reinforce cycles of poverty, unemployment, and exclusion. This is why initiatives such as the National Adult Literacy for Empowerment campaign matter deeply to us, because they restore hope and unlock human potential. As Old Mutual, our purpose is to help South Africans achieve lifetime financial well-being, but financial well-being cannot exist without foundational literacy. The ability to understand information, make informed decisions, embrace digital opportunities, and participate meaningfully in the economy. We therefore commend the Department of Higher Education and Training and the Deputy Minister and all strategic partners for leading this bold and necessary intervention. The ambition to empower 1 million adult learners by 2030 is not merely a statistic. It represents 1 million opportunities for transformation. 1 million people with greater confidence, 1 million families with renewed hope, and 1 million futures with expanded possibility. What makes this initiative especially powerful is its holistic approach, combining literacy with digital, financial, entrepreneurial, and civic skills. This is how we build a resilient community and inclusive growth. Old Mutual remains committed to playing its role alongside government and social partners in advancing financial literacy, inclusion, empowerment across South Africa as a whole. We know that meaningful change happens when institutions work together with a shared vision for people and communities. To every learner who will begin this journey, your decision to learn is an act of courage and self-belief. Your story does not end where your circumstances began. And to all stakeholders gathered here today, may this launch not simply be remembered as an event, but as the beginning of a movement that changes lives across our nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toku. You will notice that at Old Mutual we like clean names. The reason behind that is in our culture and our DNA that we address each other that way, so that we do not always come across as people who do not know where we come from. Bele, langa lokulunga nontanda. I want to say before I call the next speaker, and assure you that UDM last year had an initiative where she identified a school in Lusikisiki. I don't know if you know the deep part of Lusikisiki. And going there from town, I think Mr. Kali is how many kilometers? How many? From town. It's over 60 kilometers, and not just an average car that can get there. And when we went there with Mr. Kali and the leadership from the department, it was raining. It was not easy at all to get there. But I want to say, DM, we really appreciate the fact that you are focusing on deep rural schools or institutions. It heartened me because most of my region is deep rural. On that note, I'm going to ask Mr. Diale, because the next item is Civic and Soft Skills Program. I'll ask Mr. Mkwena to come on stage. So don't say you are eating our own cake. It's our day.
No, thank you very much. Colleagues, let me indicate that we were supposed to have Professor Ramnik, but indeed DM, he is not well, and therefore he's not able to attend. But perhaps let me just indicate the intervention coming from Higher Health. This intervention is not only for the participants in this other literacy campaign. We are also mobilizing students who have not, or even those that have completed matric, because the program in its totality deals with civic and soft skills, and it's an NQ level 5 program. So it's another, it's beyond matric. And therefore, part of why we've included it in this literacy campaign is that there are modules contained within this particular NQF level 5 qualifications that then will be rolling out in the campaign itself. But the importance is that ultimately people participating could be able to access and NQF level 5 qualification, dealing with issues of civic education, health and wellness, issues of gender-based violence, issues related to also, conflict management. So it's a very rich program that the Higher Health is providing. So I just needed to indicate that we're not only targeting people who are not literate, we're targeting also those who have an interest and either at NQF level 1 or at NQF level 4 who also may be interested in this. This is an open access qualification. In other words, you do not need to have prior qualifications for you to access it. So I felt that let's also indicate that particular issue. So Professor Ramnik, therefore, is not with us, DM, and therefore, Chair, you can continue with the program.
Thank you, Pofolo. On that note, I think it's important that we call our messages of support from the partners, and they will come in this order. Okay. We'll ask Ubele Umdanomhle to come first, followed by the National House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders. Or I'm told he's part of that house. And then we'll call PMSA, Nemisa, Ase ASCEO, SA Council of the Blind, and lastly we'll call the SRC. Yes, in that order, my leaders. Nkosi Ben.
And it's Jelly Tegolam namhlanje. Let me stand on the protocol that has been observed before. Ndoba ngikwazi ucula ndiliyilo. Kukho iculo letibona izwe lakowethu. Uxolele izono zalo. And I always, when I look at my community, I feel very worried that we in government, abantu bethu, we are leaving them behind. As bafundisi, for instance, umuntu ongumama asimfundisi ngenkamnkam yakhe. Ubana xa usamkela igrant, nekuye kwa Old Mutual. Ukwenzela mhla wafika uGabriel wakuthatha ukwazi ungcwabeka. So we are faced elalini zi-challenges enjalo. Okwesibini, ndikhula mna kusithiwa kukho abantu ngaphansi kwamanzi. So akugijiselwa emanzini nasemlanjeni. Now ngoku ndimdala nje ndiyayiqonda ubana that was water conservation. Secondly, abantu bethu ngolungelo nonomalungelo, they go ehlathini, they cut whatever tree they want. Abantu bangamaXhosa, they will know umnquma ngumthi ongagawulwa nje nomthathi, ngoba umnquma senza ngawo isiko. Yile nto ke le genge kufuneka ifundiswe ngayo. Kwakhona nezifo, kukho le ngxaki yentombi zethu okanye oodadewethu yothatha iihaggies bazilahle emlanjeni. Kufike imvula inethe down the stream, inkomo zethu ziyasela phaya, siphinde ezaa nkomo sizixhele emtshatweni. Now I find bana abantu produce ihaggies bane responsibility to teach bana how to dispose ihaggies zakho. Kwakhona abantu bethu kufuneka sibafundise about citizenry, what it means to be a South African and nokuvota, so that abantu bangasigogisi ngoba ndiziyovota mna kuba ngaphiwanga amanzi. Ngoko ke kumele ubana le program ihambe siyixhase sonke. Kubekho inhlungu endibonayo kulaa dolophu yam, abantu abadala abaxuthwa iipilisi zabo ze-TB ngabantwana because of drug and substance abuse. Iintanga zam ke zawuyazi laa poem kaMqhayi, saziyifunda ithi ngubani nalo uhamba nabani umphathele ntoni ngendebe enjani wayibeka phi kwesingakanani yimayisele mamela ke intsingiselo yalambongo ifihlakele. Umfundisi awuyazi indebe iphatha ntoni? Hayi, indebe iphatha iwine. Amasi aphatha ntoni? Aphatha ngeselo. Akhona amasi abomvu amhlophe. Wayibeka phi? Esibaya. Kukumahluko between isibaya nobuhlanti. Isibaya kulapho kwamatakane. Indoda engangam ayingeni esibaya. Kungena abantwana abancinci for ukhupha amatakane. So le ndebe ibomvu ibekwa phi? Esibaya, kulaa ndawo kukwabantwana. So that basele utywala abantwana bethu ubabone bafuna ude baqubha apha phakathi ebhotileni. Ngoko we must educate abantwana bethu on the danger of alcohol abuse and substance abuse. Sinibonile ngoku kuthiwa they take even a Sprite. A Sprite once usimise with Disprin or Grandpa sekubetha ube nomqhelana omandi. Ne cough syrup. Ne cough syrup lena once bayitye kakhulu baqhunywa abantwana bethu. Ngoko ke inobungozi ke lento bantwana bam, masiyifundeni ubana singayenzi. Enkosi.
Mbokodo, wathinta umama, wathinta imbokodo, wathinta umama, umama, wathinta umama, umama, wathinta umama. In order for me to get this position, colleagues, my leaders, I was auditioned when I came into this campus this morning at 8:30. Whether I'm able to sing. So please know that. And in that panel, there was one person only. So on that note, I'm going to break that sequence and request Miss Marcia to come on stage representing Professor Renmark. Over to you, Marcia. That's why I'm singing that song. It's for Mbokodo.
Thank you, Program Director. Halala Eastern Cape CET halala. Aibo. Halala Eastern Cape CET halala. Halala. Much better. Honorable DM, apologies for the misunderstanding of me not being acknowledged as being here. Prof has called me immediately. DM is looking for you. On behalf of our CEO, Professor Ramnik Aluwalia, I do apologize for him not being here today because of unseen circumstances, but I will do the presentation on behalf of Prof. And thank you so much, Program Director, for all the protocols because I would have missed some names. But Honorable Deputy Minister Gondwe, DDG Fuchani, and all protocol observed, it's an honor for me to stand here today to speak on our civic and soft skills program. The civic and soft skills program from Higher Health is a blended learning program. And it is designed to speak and equip to young people with the critical life skills and soft skills needed to bridge the gap between graduation and the workspace. Importantly so, it is the program that is directly linked to the 17 SDGs that DDG Fuchani spoke about earlier. And DDG, I love when I speak to the students and speak on the program, ask them, what is the 17 SDGs? And very few of them know what the 17 SDGs is. And so just to inform everybody that the Civic and Soft Skills program that Higher Health designed at the NQF level 5 qualification that is QCTO accredited, but also endorsed by UNESCO. And I don't think many a times our students realize the enormity of the UNESCO endorsement, that with this certificate you have got the opportunity to go anywhere in the world. And if the job you are applying for has got these modules incorporated in your job description, you stand a chance to get that qualification. So I want to encourage, I spoke last week to a stakeholder forum meeting and I have done the exact same presentation there, and the importance of stakeholders coming on board to make this possible for the young people of South Africa. And I think the previous speaker or the person who was before me spoke on public-private partnerships, and that is so critical and important, but let me not waste any more time and dig into the presentation. Now, my name is Masia Kalebe Mwanza, and I am the Provincial Manager for Higher Health in the Eastern Cape. We work in all the TVET colleges in the Eastern Cape, all the CETs, and in all 4 universities. The next slide is just to give you an indication that nationally, we work in all 26 universities, we work in all 50 TVET colleges, and in all 9 CETs within the country. We also have got 10 focus areas, which is the Higher Health core business, that is transforming mentalities, gender-based violence, gender equality, mental health, SRH, substance and alcohol abuse, youth resilience, self-care, and physical well-being. We also have gender diversity, LGBTQI+, and civic education, human rights, and ethics. We've got disability, which is one of our major focus areas for the year coming, and then financial literacy and climate change. Those are the 10 priority areas of Higher Health. But let me speak about the Higher Health Academy, what this day is all about. And the Higher Health Academy has got the following soft skills programs that we're having. We have the Civic and Health Peer Education Program, which is the CHPEP that we are currently rolling out within the CETs and that we have done in the TVET colleges within the province. Now we're going to expand and we are having the Civic Soft Skills Program, which is a 60 credit program, and at NQF level 5 with 8 modules. We also have a digital literacy and I just spoke with a person from Google, and when you mentioned Google, he unfortunately had to leave, but he was also here, who is also a partner within the launch of today's program. Then we have civic education. Micro-credentials is only a single module course, but then we also have just energy, transition, and climate change. And coming soon, we've got skills for life. But now, what is the civic and soft skills program all about? It is built at basic literacy level, which means it's youth-centric. It is a global endorsement that I've mentioned. It's accredited at skills level 5. And then it's online with automated certification for your CV and LinkedIn profile. It also can be made available in South Africa in the different languages of our cultures. Module 1 deals on civic education and global citizenship. So what is it? We had a launch last week in DHET at the EMC College with the MEC for safety in terms of safer communities. And one of the counselors in that meeting stood up and said to the students that your safety begins with you. How do you become a responsible citizen? The college can do as much as they want. DHET can do as much as they want. The DDG and the team can put programs on the table for CET students. But unless a student realizes that their safety and their health begins with them, there's nothing nobody else can do. So these programs and these modules are designed to enforce within our student population the realization that my health, my status, and my safety is my responsibility. Then Module 2 speaks on gender equity and inclusion. We speak on mental health and emotional intelligence in Module 3. We have Module 4 that speaks on disability, inclusion, and accessibility. Module 5 is physical and sexual health. Then Module 6 is substance abuse, gambling, and gaming abuse and addiction. This is just the qualification that was acquired from QCTO to show that the program is QCTO accredited. I think many people pray today that has never prayed before for this WinDM, that the tent hold its place. Then we also have a partnership with Gateway Qualifications. This program was launched with Manchester University in the UK. So the qualifications is also accredited by Gateway Qualifications of the UK. And we had, I think last week or the week before, a graduation ceremony in the UK for the students that graduated from the program. Now, research has shown that 85% of job satisfaction and job success comes from soft skills. I always say I sit on interview panels many a times, and because many interviews today are competency-based, you ask the person sitting across the table, based on your experience, can you give us an example when you had to deal with a conflict situation? If you are a newly graduate, where's that experience? You've never had experience. You can't give that example. But if you have done this course that speaks to the soft skills that you need in conflict management, that automatically gives you an advantage to respond to that question in the interview. Then, this is the 17 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And because I'm pressed for time, I can't go into module by module how it is linked to the 17 SDGs. But each and every module of this course is linked to a development goal within the SDGs. This is the soft skills that we are emphasizing in the course. It's empathy. And it's very important. I'm a social worker by profession, and I always say there's a difference between empathy and sympathy. It is important to emphasize that this course teaches you when to have empathy and when to have sympathy with the person. Then civic responsibility and volunteerism, emotional intelligence and conflict resolution, creativity, critical thinking, very important, people, and problem solving, decision making, digital literacy, presentation skills, public speaking and communication, and then resilience, confidence, and self-motivation. Now, I am very passionate about resilience, people, because many a times, and especially in the workplace today, you need to have resilience. What is resilience? And oftentimes when I joke, I say, how do you spell it? Because resilience is a critical component and element that is needed in the job market today for you to become a success. Then the end-to-end digital platform solution, you apply, you enroll, and then you go through the modules, which is civic education, CSE, gender education, alcohol and substance abuse, mental health, climate change, disability, and financial literacy. And when you're done with the 8 modules, you get your QCTO, FISA assessment, and then all your assessments, your projects, your practical work, and the FISA exams that you wrote are then submitted to QCTO for verification, and after that verification, you receive your certificate of compliance, and you can then access the job market through that. This is the number of students who already completed this course of us to date. Registered since inception, we have had 21,000 students. Total students who wrote FISA assessments is 15,346. Total number of students who passed FISA is 14,561, with a pass rate of 95% and a throughput rate of 82%, which I think is pretty incredible in terms of judging this with academic qualifications. We can see how well the students are performing on that. Then how do we measure impact? I am very passionate about impact assessment, social impact assessment. I am a community developer by heart, so everything I do, I look within the focus of impact. We don't just do something for the sake of doing it. How do we measure the impact that we are doing? Higher Health has established a data science lab at the Stellenbosch University, who is putting application through for a research chair on the council. We've employed 2 postdoctoral students for longitudinal research, looking at the impact of the CSSP in the job market. The throughout rates, have students' marks academically improved? Do students find employment earlier and easier? And do students perform better in their jobs? We need to take hands. I always say, not one single entity can guarantee success. But if we take our hands together, we will definitely make it work. And I thank you. I just need to close with this one signature quote that I have. Whenever I speak, I have the need to say this. I shall pass through this world but once. Anything, therefore, that I do, or anything that I can do, let me do it now. Let me not deter, for I shall not pass this way again. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Marcia, for opening our eyes and alerting us about the programs that you are offering. On that note, we'll ask Project Management South Africa to come on stage. Andiyazi ingoma yakho ke Mhlekazi ngene ukuhlabele.
Molweni. Ninjani? Isikhona. Honorable Deputy Minister of Department of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Meme Gondwe. It is an honor to partake in one of your events again. Nkosi Bele Mavuso, indoda engenzi njengothetha yenzayo, having worked with you in some of the big infrastructure projects of Transnet, I'm confident that what we are talking about today is going to happen. Honorable, distinguished teachers and lecturers, you know, teachers are very important. Whatever that we are doing today, they are the implementers. I greet you all. With the protocols that have just been observed, it is an honor for me to be part of this launch of National Adult Literacy for Empowerment campaign under the theme, Empowering Communities Through Literacy for Inclusive Development. This theme speaks directly to our shared responsibility to build society where every South African can participate meaningfully in social, economic, and civil through education and lifelong education. This event talked to me. I still remember in 1989, when I was starting high school, which was standard 8 at the time, I attended a church career day. In that church career day, one thing that sparks in my mind was that at the time, in my rural area, there was no graduate, whether from DHET, whether from the Technikon, and whether from the university. I took upon myself that I'll be one of the graduates. And also I went beyond that. I also am gonna create more graduates in my rural area, which is something that we have partnered as a family, that we have done. We have taken ownership of a certain school. We are delivering great results. I think last year we achieved about 89%. So education is close to me and it is close to my family. On behalf of Project Management South Africa, which I'm currently leading, I want to commend the higher education and training for its leadership in advancing adult literacy as a cornerstone of national development and community empowerment. Project Management South Africa, the leading voluntary professional body for project management in South Africa, has been committed to enhancing professional standards and competency development since its inception in 1997. Our affiliation with Global Alliance for Project Management, which I am one of the directors, ensures that we align our practices with international benchmarks while fostering local capacity development and transformation. We actively support recognition of prior learning with our professional framework, enabling practitioners without traditional qualifications to gain recognition based on their experience, skills, and demonstrated competence. This approach reflects the spirit of inclusive development by opening pathways for individuals who have historically been excluded from formal opportunities. Education is not, though we say it's the right, it is still a privilege in our country, which is something that we need to deal with. Adult literacy and lifelong learning are powerful tools for empowerment. They create pathways to employment, entrepreneurship, innovation, and active citizenship. In today's knowledge-driven economy, literacy extends beyond reading and writing. It includes the ability to participate actively in economic, digital, and community life. The theme of this campaign reminds us that the empowered communities are built through access to knowledge, skills, and opportunity. When communities are literate and informed, they are better equipped to address poverty, inequality, unemployment, and social exclusion. Project Management South Africa remains committed to initiatives that strengthen institutional capability and community empowerment. We believe that sustainable and inclusive development can only be achieved through strong collaboration among government, educational institutions, industry, labor, traditional leadership, and civil society. Together, we have an opportunity to shape the new education that prepares South Africans not only to learn, but to build, manage, lead, and transform their lives. As the Project Management in South Africa, we envision the partnership where project management principles are embedded into skills development programs. We would be happy if project management can be taught in every level of education, DHET, colleges, universities, technikons, even in high schools, which is something that we would like. We would envision where DHET colleges and CETs can become centers of practical leadership and delivery. Communities are empowered through structured development initiatives. Youth are exposed to real-world project developments. Project management is something that affects everyone. Everyone does projects. I still remember one of the initiatives where we trained illiterate people like in one of the rural communities. One of the things that they told us, they said, you're going to learn from us on how projects are managed. And they shared some of the projects that they've learned from the ceremonies in their families. Inclusivity and academia collaborate more closely, and education becomes directly connected to economic participation. With those words, colleagues, I thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mhlekazi. Thank you so much. My leaders, as you all know that we didn't start at the time that was set as per the program. And we need to request that everybody who's going to come and give a message of support, just give us 3 minutes, just highlight the gist of your message of support. We've got a very tight schedule, as you know. We've got a lot of partners that have to take a flight back to Johannesburg this afternoon. So let us be mindful of that. On that note, I'm going to ask Natural Electronic Media Institute of South Africa to come on stage.
Thank you, program directors. Good day, everyone. I hope you're well. Greetings to the DM, the Nkosi, and everyone gathered here. My name is Togozani. I serve as the project manager at NEMISA. I am honored to stand here in front of you on behalf of our CEO, who unfortunately couldn't be here. It is a privilege to extend NEMISA's support to the Department of Higher Education and Training, the CET branch, on the launch of the National Literacy Empowerment Campaign. At NEMISA, we see literacy as more than a basic skill. It is the foundation for empowerment, economic inclusion, and active participation in the rapidly evolving society. In today's digital age, it means empowering individuals with the skills needed to access information, opportunities, and service confidently and independently. We commend the department, the CET colleges, and all stakeholders for their commitment to empowering 1 million adult learners by 2030. This campaign is a powerful step towards building a more inclusive and empowered society. At NEMISA, we remain committed to advancing education and digital inclusion, and that no one is left behind. NEMISA is an entity of the Department of Communication and Digital Technology. Our mandate is to deliver digital skills and creative media skills. Our course offerings include digital literacy, digital entrepreneurship, specialized courses, your cybersecurity, your AI, as well as we have technical skills programs. We also have creative media skills programs that include film and television, video production, graphic design, animation, podcast, and live streaming. Our aim is to link training with economic opportunities. NEMISA has signed an MOA with the department to make it possible for the CETs to access these training opportunities. We wish this campaign every success, and I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mhlekazi. And on that note, I'm going to request Mr. Zishwele, who's going to be speaking on behalf of South African Council for the Blind.
Okay. Thank you, Program Director. Without wasting time, let me greet the Deputy Minister and negqiza lakhe, nenkosi eziphakathi kwethu, staff as a department and CET College yase Eastern Cape. Siyabulisa lemva kwamini. South African National Council for the Blind is in full support of this program. And Deputy Minister, we believe that your presence here in this province in launching this project or this program is going to open doors for people with disabilities, more especially in the CET sector. We've been knocking endlessly or tirelessly kwi-CET yalapha Eastern Cape, trying to partner with them in terms of piloting a program in the Mthatha region and Gqeberha. That started in 2023, but up to today, we have not received any positive feedback from the CET College. We ask your intervention, Deputy Minister, because we believe that as the National Development Plan is guiding us, that the government needs to do what is called integrated planning. Part of integrated planning is to take into consideration all the citizens of the country, irregardless of their disabilities or backgrounds. We really appreciate it to be part of this launch, and we commit our full support. We believe that a true economic transformation will only take place when people are literate and they know their rights. We believe that this program is going to close a gap where people with disabilities are living and swimming in poverty, living lives of shame and hopelessness. Because it is a fact and truth that disability grant alone cannot sustain your life, and you cannot meet your dreams living on a disability grant. Deputy Minister, we appeal to you and to the government at large that even after getting opportunities to access training in these institutions, people with disabilities in general, more especially those who have visual impairment, because they are seen as a burden and very expensive to employ. We ask the government to intervene that the private sector must play a big role in making their workplaces accessible to people with disabilities. With those words, we thank you so much, and we pray that our God will assist your leadership and give you strength to make this program a good success, a great success. I thank you.
Thank you, Mhlekazi. On that note, we are going to call on stage Department of Land and Rural Development, represented by Miss Moyo.
Ngiyabonga Program Director Sanbonani. Dumela Deputy Minister Dr. Kondo. Sawubona Nkosi Mavuso, the chairperson of the National House of Traditional and Khoisan Leaders, and the CETers that are here who are our partners. We acknowledge you. DDG Fuchani, you are a great partner, so I cannot not acknowledge you. Thank you very much. My name is Nomtanda Zomoyo. I'm the Deputy Director General for Rural Development under the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development. So according to the Constitution, the mandate of rural development rests with us, and that's why we are here to support this initiative. The department believes that the initiative itself contributes to issues around rural development and rural economy. We have signed an MOU with the department that looks at youth development, rural skills development, women, youth, and the matured. I won't say the old, the matured. Because we believe that skills development is for everyone. We also believe that education and skills development contributes to economic development. If you are not able to read and write, you are not able to analyze your finances, you are not able to write a business plan, it becomes difficult to even run an enterprise or even a cooperatives. And we want to say, as the department, we believe that this program will be a hope Deputy Minister, that it will be beyond the launch. It will be implemented in all the 44 districts, rural districts in the country. And secondly, that in our implementation, we will be working with traditional leaders. We implement what we call the NARISEC program. And we have seen a success of any developmental initiative that gets planned and implemented with traditional leaders. Because these rural communities are under traditional leaders. And if you introduce an intervention with the support of traditional leaders, they are able to follow up on the seed that you have planted. And we want to say there are farmers who are involved in agriculture and agro-processing who needs this program. There are enterprises and cooperatives across the country in rural areas who needs the program. There are those who are the workers of land, abasebenza umhlaba, that needs this program for them to go beyond just using the land as human settlement, but using them as a means of production for themselves as well as the local economies. So we want to applaud you, Deputy Minister, and the department for initiating this program. I think when we were growing up, we used to have ABET, and we used to have evening classes for adults. I remember sitting with my father, accompanying him to learn Sepedi, Afrikaans and English. That's all he was learning. And the importance to him of understanding what the other person is saying and be able to interact was more than enough. So I want to say on behalf of the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development, we commit to partner with you in the implementation of the program to reach that 1 million by 2030 through this program. And we are more even excited that you're going to use your community education and training colleges so that they don't just remain unused. Others are used, and we know that those who are not used. And we are saying we are a partner in making sure that those colleges are used not only for literacy program, but for rural skills development program across the country. With that, we reaffirm our support and the partnership in this important initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Moyo. I'm sure on that note, leadership and the guests, you are confident, DM, that you've got all the support to roll out all the programs. And I'm going to ask DDG Fuchane to come on stage to introduce our keynote address. Sekuzoba nje kube nje uma sithandaza. Sekuzoba nje kube nje uma sithandaza. Uma sithandaza. Thandaza uma sithandaza. Daza uthi dijike uthi bakhona abantu esingababizanga apha i-service sitter. Do we have any representative from i-service sitter? Oh, okay. Uma sithandaza sekuzoba nje
Ndaza. Thank you, Honorable MC. Honorable Minister, dear Doctor, we appreciate you from Services SITA, the whole DHET, our principals, we appreciate you. To Amakoswe who have welcomed us in Daweni, thank you very much. To the program directors as well. To our sister sitters, MQA, and all the sitters here, TVETs colleges and CETs, we greet you and thank you. I'm here representing our administrator, Mr. Masocha. He said, I must say,
We are committed to the development of CET colleges, and we pledge our continuous support to TVET colleges and CET colleges. We as a services sector are committed to skills development as our mandate, economic development, rural and township development, and youth development at most. We as a sector, we have committed 90 million rand towards the ECET development to make sure that the agenda and the face of CETs change. Because when we grew up, CETs were labeled as those institutions, but we as services sector, we say we want to change the makeup of CETs. They must receive the dignity that they deserve. They must receive the recognition that they deserve. They must receive the respect that they deserve. So, Honorable Minister, Siak supporter in this drive, MQA, thank you very much. And all the PSET system, let's support our CET and make sure that they get the deserve that they respect. The respect they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mhlekazi. Over to you.
Apologies for that, Program Director. Thank you very much. And thanks to all the partners who spoke. I appreciate all the pledges that have been made. I am going to be very brief. Ixesha seliqhatshiwe zizinja. Ndawuya apho kufele khona ithole. Ndizawazisa ngoku the Honorable Deputy Minister ozawukunikezela nge-keynote address. Apha ndazisa ngenkokheli, and ayonkokheli nje, inkokheli efundileyo, inkokheli innovative, inkokheli esebenza ngamandla nawusivela ngokweni xa ethetha. Inkokheli eza iphethe into esandleni ahambize. Inkokheli ezawuthi xa inishile apha nawuncuma kude kuyoba ngapha ko-2030. Okoko nawube nincumile. Ndithetha ngenkokheli yethu, Honorable Deputy Minister Dr. Mimi Gondwe, who was appointed as a Deputy Minister for Higher Education and Training on 30 June 2024. Dr. Gondwe has been a Member of Parliament for the Democratic Alliance since 2019 and has served in numerous parliamentary committees, including the Committees on Public Enterprises, Public Service and Administration, State Security, and the Section 194 inquiry. In addition to serving on these committees, she has also served on the Joint Ethics Committee of Parliament and the Constitutional Review Committee of Parliament. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Political Philosophy from the University of Cape Town, a Bachelor of Laws from Rhodes University, and both a Master and Doctor of Laws in Mercantile Law from the University of Stellenbosch. While studying towards a PhD at the University of Stellenbosch, Dr. Gondwe was awarded a number of scholarships and grants in recognition of her academic achievements, and these includes the Fulbright Scholarship, the Andrew Mellon Foundation Scholarship, and the Baden-Württemberg Scholarship. Dr. Gondwe has a rich professional background in the legal, academic, and political spheres. Her career includes holding positions such as content advisor and researcher at Parliament of the Republic of South Africa and junior lecturer research assistant at the University of Stellenbosch. Her leadership and dedication to public service has been evident in her various roles, including in that of mentoring young leaders and driving crucial national issues while still serving in the portfolio committees of Public Service and Administration and Public Enterprises. Ndizawucela ke kuvakale indlu ishukume okwazi uyiza la yizele simphakamise ngobubele obushushu ndiyokoyoko ndinje nje ngumama ndinje nguma ndiyokoyoko ndinje ngumama ndinje
Umama nje uma Mama. Ndiyabulela kakhulu. Molweni nonke. Molweni nonke. Ndiyabulisa. Niyaphila. Nami ngiyaphila. Ndiyabulela kakhulu. I'm going to apologize. 1 o'clock ndifanele ndihambe. Ndiye Kapa because tomorrow I'm appearing before a portfolio committee. As you know, siya counter to a parliament, so I must be there tomorrow. But ndiyaxolisa kakhulu, as long as inyawo zami have hit the ground, right ngoko. Ndiyabulela kakhulu. Inkosi Mavuso, thank you very much for the warm welcome. You'll be happy to know that izolo, I was at the King Hintsa Legacy Lecture. Ukumkane, Atlangene, Sekawi had invited me there, so bendikhona lana. And I learned so much about King Hintsa and the legacy that he left. So long live the Xhosa Kingdom, long live. Long live the Xhosa Kingdom, long live. Ndiyabulela kakhulu. And I want to acknowledge all the partners, all the guests that are here, my students, the staff members, everybody that is here. If I've not mentioned you, it's because I'm riding on the protocol that's already been established, and I'm a bit limited for time. But ndiyabulela kakhulu, because you all made time for this event today. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 years into our democracy, millions of South Africans still remain locked out of opportunities because they cannot read, write, or access the tools required to participate meaningfully in the economy and society. It is for this reason that this moment carries with it such great significance. This is more than just a launch of another government program. It is a clarion call to action, a call to restore dignity, to expand opportunity, and to ensure that no South African is left behind because they are deprived of the transformative power of literacy. The launch further takes place during a pivotal moment in our national and continental journey. This year marks exactly 30 years since the adoption of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, a constitution that is founded on fundamental rights such as the rights to dignity, equality, and freedom. We must also recognize and accept that these constitutional rights cannot be fully realized if millions of our people remain excluded from literacy, skills, and access to opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also gathered here today during Africa Month, a month that reminds us of the vision of African unity, self-determination, and development, a vision that inspired and shaped the founding of the Organization of African Unity on 25 May 1963 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. More importantly, this year marks 70 years since the historic Women's March of 1956. It is impossible, ladies and gentlemen, to speak about literacy in our context without speaking about women. The stark and painful reality is that our country has approximately 3.8 million adults who are functionally illiterate. And more than half of those functionally illiterate adults are women. The research further shows that the majority of illiterate adults are found in rural mining communities as well as in our townships and economically marginalized areas. Moreover, many are unemployed, were failed by history, by poverty, and by the unequal access to education. That is why this campaign is so crucial. Literacy is not simply about reading words or numbers on a page. Literacy is about dignity, it is about confidence, it is about independence. It is about whether a mother can read and complete a clinic form on behalf of her child, whether a worker can apply for a job, whether a grandmother can read a message from her grandchildren, or whether a young person can participate meaningfully in the modern economy.
Today we are launching more than a literacy campaign. Today we're launching a campaign for empowerment, for dignity and opportunity. The distinction between a literacy campaign and an empowerment campaign is a very important and crucial one, and signifies that we're moving beyond a narrow definition of literacy to a much broader one. Yes, we want our people to read and write, but we also want them to develop digital literacy. We want them to develop financial literacy. We want them to develop workplace literacy, civic literacy, and entrepreneurship capabilities. We want literacy to become a bridge to employment, to enterprise, and to lifelong learning. The partnerships represented here today are so critical to the success of this campaign. Old Mutual, my trusted partner, is advancing financial literacy where a higher health is strengthening civic literacy and soft skills development. And the fact that the National Electronic Media Institute of South Africa is expanding digital literacy reflects the broad and integrated approach that is required to empower our communities. Critical to this effort is the role of the Mining Qualifications Authority in community mobilization. The impact of the WNR CETA and services CETA in strengthening entrepreneurship and enterprise development capabilities will also play an important role in expanding economic opportunities for our communities. Together with our community education and training colleges, which remain at the center or the core of adult literacy and numeracy, these partnerships affirm the profound reality that the battle against illiteracy cannot be fought and won by government alone. It's impossible. It requires a collective national effort, not only driven by sound partnerships, by a shared responsibility and a common commitment to restoring dignity and expanding opportunity. In order for this campaign to succeed, it also requires communities. It requires traditional leadership in Nkosi Mavuso, and it requires the private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, as alluded to earlier in my address, at the heart and the core of this literacy empowerment campaign lies our community education and training colleges. For too long, our CT colleges have not received the attention they deserve. Yet these institutions are uniquely positioned within our communities to become centers of lifelong learning, skills development, and second chances. Our vision as the Department of Higher Education, and this is the vision of the Minister of Higher Education and Training, Honorable Buti Manamela, who unfortunately could not be here, but he's very passionate about this campaign. And our vision is to reposition CET colleges as the heartbeat of lifelong learning and community renewal in South Africa. But at the same time, we must be honest about the challenges confronting many of our CET colleges across the country. A considerable number of our CET colleges continue to operate under difficult conditions, which include, amongst other things, poor infrastructure, limited access to land for expansion, unsafe or unsuitable learning environments, food insecurity, and limited or no access to equipment and digital resources. If we're really serious about repositioning CET colleges as centers of lifelong learning and community renewal, then we must also be serious about investing in the conditions that will allow proper teaching and learning to flourish in our CET colleges. These institutions must become places where a young person who left school, a young female person who left school due to pregnancy can return with dignity, where an unemployed adult can acquire skills and training, where a grandmother can learn to read and write, where a mine worker can gain digital skills, and where communities can reconnect with education and opportunity. We're working hard to ensure that CET colleges become more agile, more responsive, and more accessible. And that's why I'm very excited about the 90 million rands. Did you hear that? The check is somewhere. Where's that check? So people can see that this is there. The check is floating somewhere. But even if I'm not, can you please bring the check here so everybody can see that, that beautiful check of 90 million rand? So I really want to thank Services CETA for this incredible donation. And because they are under my delegation, I convinced them that this money will be put to good use. Thank you very much. Through our CT colleges, we are strengthening pathways into skills programs, entrepreneurship opportunities, TVET colleges and universities. We are also advancing the National Senior Certificate for Adults, commonly known as NASCA, to ensure that the youth and adults who are unable to complete school are able to access an alternative matric pathway and continue with further learning. We believe deeply that it's never too late to learn. Education must never become the privilege of those who succeeded early in life while abandoning those who require a second chance. Ladies and gentlemen, there are important lessons we can draw from previous literacy initiatives, including the Kargude Mass Literacy Campaign. One of the most important lessons we can draw on is that successful literacy campaigns are rooted in communities. They succeed when they speak the language of the people, respond to local realities, and restore confidence and hope. This is particularly important as we integrate indigenous knowledge systems into our approaches to teaching and learning. We cannot build an inclusive education system while ignoring the knowledge systems, languages, and lived experiences of our people. The future of education on our continent must be globally relevant and locally grounded. The scale of the challenge, ladies and gentlemen, before us is significant, but so too is the scale of the opportunity. By 2030, this Literacy for Empowerment campaign aims to reach 1 million adult learners across South Africa. Imagine what this could mean. Imagine 1 million people gaining access to knowledge, confidence, skills, and economic opportunity. Imagine 1 million stories of restored dignity and hope. Imagine 1 million lives transformed. That is the vision before us, and this is precisely the reason why we must approach this campaign not as any event, but rather as a national commitment. As I engage with young people, women, unemployed adults, and communities across our country, I'm constantly reminded that our people have not lost hope. What many people need is not charity. They need opportunity, they need support, and they need institutions that believe in their potential and dreams. Because literacy changes more than individuals. It changes households, it changes communities, and ultimately, it changes nations. In closing, let me express my sincere appreciation to all the partners, stakeholders, traditional leaders, and institutions who've joined hands with us, the Department of Higher Education and Training, in support of this empowerment campaign. Your commitment demonstrates that the fight against illiteracy is not the responsibility of government alone. It is a national responsibility. Let us therefore move forward together with urgency, with compassion, and with determination. Let us build a country where every person, regardless of their age or background, has the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to participate meaningfully in the economy and in society. Let us ensure that literacy becomes not only a tool for learning, but a pathway to dignity, empowerment, and inclusive development. I thank you, Ndiabulela kakhulu, ke a leboga. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Mamu Fuchane, please come on stage for the handing over.